Não é tempo técnico, mas é intervalo aqui no podcast. Já imaginou se seu time tivesse um seguro para não perder nunca? Pois é, isso não existe. Mas com a Zurich Seguros, quem não perde nunca é você. Na Zurich Seguros, os planos se adequam às suas necessidades em qualquer momento da sua vida. Seja seguro de auto, residência, vida e muito mais. Diferente de alguns times, na Zurich Seguros você pode confiar. Para saber mais, acesse zurich.com.br ou consulte seu corretor.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network. You can follow us on our YouTube channel as well, at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined occasionally by my football gurus, Paul and Ian. Let's get to it. What's going on, Ram fans? Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. And you know what? I love Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday, but it really makes it difficult trying to get power rankings out and game picks on a short week. Tough enough when there's just a Thursday night game. This week took it to a whole nother level. But I am going to go through my power rankings and my game picks real quickly. And some of my picks will already be wrong by the time you hear this. Well, they definitely will be right or wrong. The games will be over is what I'm saying. And maybe my power rankings will be obsolete already as well. Got 3 ranked teams playing on Thanksgiving Day, so I expect things will change a little bit. I'm also going to get through the things that Ram fans have to be thankful for. Little fun thing at the end here. Try to get your spirits up about our 5 and 6 Rams. Sneak in what we know injury-wise for these two teams. Saints running back Jamal Williams has been limited. He's Alvin Kamara's backup, and starting center Eric McCoy did not participate. And his backup, Lucas Patrick, is also struggling with an injury. Other than that, they come in pretty healthy, coming off a bye, of course, so you would expect that. With the Rams, the issues are along the offensive line. Rob Havenstein trending towards playing now. Alaric Jackson is the question mark now, apparently dealing with a foot injury. So the way this season has been going for the Rams, we'll probably see Havenstein play and Warren McClendon or Joseph Noteboom over on the left side. Well, let's just hope Alaric can play because he's been really solid all year long. Now, those power rankings. Now remember, these rankings do not take into account whatever happened on Thanksgiving Day. I have 3 teams that dropped out of the green room completely, and that would be the Falcons, Bengals, and our Rams. Falcons and Bengals were on a bye. Not sure why I changed my opinion on them, but I don't see them jumping up into the top 12 anytime soon. It's going to take more than 1 week, and that's basically what the green room is, right? Teams that are just sitting there just outside the top 12, that with maybe 1 solid win could elevate themselves into the top 12, bumping someone else out. I actually have 3 teams in the green room, the Texans, the 49ers, and the Broncos. Texans on a little bit of a nosedive, lost 3 of their last 4. The 49ers, I was tempted to move them out of the green room entirely, but we know the kind of talent they have on that roster, and they could get things straight pretty quickly as they get healthier. We'll see if it happens this week. And then the Broncos, I was tempted to put them in the top 12, but there's a couple of teams that I like a little bit more at this point, but I really like what the Broncos are doing. And if I had to identify a 13th ranked team, it would be the Broncos. And you know who plummeted out of the top 12, and they're not even in my green room right now? The Washington Commanders, losers of 3 straight, giving up just under 30 points a game in those 3 games. So they are out of the top 12 and out of the green room as well. Now, I actually have 3 teams that jumped up into the top 12. The 3 teams that fell out, 49ers, Texans, and Commanders. The 3 teams that, well, I'll get to them in a second. But my number 12 team is elevated from the green room, and that's the Miami Dolphins. They hammered the Patriots as expected, and depending on what happened against the Packers, maybe they're still number 12 by the time you hear this. Maybe they're in the green room. Maybe they jumped up into the middle of that top 12. And my number 11 team dropping one spot, the LA Chargers. Hopefully that's a blip on the radar for that defense against the Ravens. And dropping 4 spots from number 6 to number 10, the Arizona Cardinals did not break 300 yards of offense against the Seahawks. And that really surprised me. They put up 2 field goals. That's it. Seahawks defense may be coming around. And they are my number 9 team, the Seahawks, up and out of the green room. Got to give them credit. They are improving. Kobe Bryant had a pick 6. Really solid defense against the Cardinals. And one of my biggest risers, I think it might be the biggest riser of the week, the Packers from the green room to number 8. Beat the 49ers JV team pretty solid. Now they get the Dolphins at home. Kind of a nice schedule for them because Tua really struggles in cold weather, and it's going to be colder, should I say. By the time you hear this, it was cold. And they certainly caught the 49ers at an opportune time. Dolphins at Packers, a real measuring stick for both teams. Now the Steelers lost but moved up a spot. Now let me explain that. I'm giving them a partial pass due to the weather there in Cleveland. That was a pretty even game, a divisional opponent in that kind of weather, and you get nipped at the end there. So they're at number 7 now. The Vikings dropped 1 spot by winning. I need to explain myself again. They beat a divisional opponent on the road, but they should have made short work of the Bears, in my opinion, and they did not. You know, these teams here in the middle of the top 12, after the top 4, you can probably just throw their names in the hat, pull them out one at a time, and I'd be okay with that order. But I have the Vikings at 6. The Ravens moved up 4 spots from number 9 to number 5, traveled to the West Coast, put a 30 spot on a really, really good defense. The Chiefs dropped 1 spot from number 3 to number 4, another unimpressive win, and the Eagles flipped with them, moved up from 4 to number 3 with an impressive win on the West Coast against our Rams, and the top 2 remain the same. Lions number 1, Bills number 2. Now, if the Bears somehow found a way to beat the Lions, that just blows us all apart. Probably have the Bills and Eagles ahead of them if that happened. Before I get to what we have to be thankful for as Ram fans, let's get to these game picks. I'm going to run through this really fast. I went 8-5 last week. Pete went 7-6. So I'm back to 8 games ahead of him. We were only divided on 1 game, Seattle and Arizona, and it went my way. I picked the Seahawks. Pete picked the Cardinals. So I have an 8-game lead over him, 114 correct, 65 wrong, 64% on my Rams Up Straight Up game picks. That's not too bad, I guess. So what do I got this week? Bears at Lions, Thanksgiving morning game. Like everybody else, I picked the Lions. It was pretty close, though. Bears really scooted up at the end there, didn't they? You know, they've been playing teams really tough. Just got to figure out how to close the deal. Giants at Dallas, and wow, this is a very unappealing game. It was on where I was for Thanksgiving Day, and I barely watched. Just wasn't interested, and I figured the home team would win here, and that turned out to be the case. And the Thanksgiving evening game, Dolphins at the Packers. You know, I'm solidly behind the Dolphins, the rejuvenated Dolphins, and I have not been sold on the Packers, and I get it. Cold weather game, not good for these Miami Dolphins, but I took the Dolphins. Silly me, I did take the Dolphins, so I took a hit there. Raiders at the Chiefs. Yeah, I saw someone picking an upset here, but not going to happen. It'll be a little bit close, I think, closer than you'd expect, because the Chiefs, by their standards, are kind of struggling right now. So I'll take the Chiefs. Chargers at the Falcons. Falcons coming off a bye. Chargers have to travel to Georgia, but I think their defense is going to give the Falcons big-time problems, and they will get the win. Steelers at the Bengals. Steelers, another team that I'm not overly excited about as the playoffs get closer and closer. I'm taking the Bengals, another team coming off a bye, to win this one. Steelers did play Thursday, so it's not the typical bye week advantage for the Bengals. Texans at the Jags. Texans better get it straightened out. Colts are still nipping at their heels, and I think they take care of the Jaguars. Another game that'll be closer than you think. Cardinals at the Vikings. This is a game that will really help us sort out the NFC for us, won't it? I'm taking the Vikings. Cardinals, man, really strange what happened to their offense in Seattle. Vikings will give them troubles. Vikings really get after the quarterback. So Kyler Murray, that may be to the Cardinals' advantage, actually, extending plays, getting past that pass rush. So that'll be a fun game. I'm taking the Vikings. Colts at the Patriots. Colts got to be thrilled with where they're at. They haven't really played very well, especially the quarterback position. It's been a real struggle, but they're still alive and well, and they are really motivated, and they will beat the Patriots. It'll be a low-scoring slugfest, I think. Seahawks got to travel to New York and play the Jets, and this will be a low-scoring game, and I'm actually going to, I guess I'll roll with the Seahawks, but would not be surprised if the Jets pulled off a win here. We'll be rooting for the Jets, won't we? But just being realistic here, I'll take the Seahawks. They're playing really well. Titans at the Commanders. Commanders will get well, break their losing streak. Not going to catch the Eagles, but they have to be worried about securing that wild card spot. They're in a really good spot right now, but another loss here. Man, we were so excited about the Commanders and the Texans several weeks ago. Now both of them kind of floundering. But Commanders win there. Buccaneers will take care of the Panthers in a close game. Rams at the Saints. You know how I feel about that. As I said at the round table, Rams will go into New Orleans and secure the win. I don't feel really good about this game, though. Got a bad feeling about it. But I'm hoping the Rams are turning that humiliation that they must have felt against the Eagles into some fire and brimstone and take care of the Saints. Eagles at the Ravens. This is a potential Super Bowl preview, right? These are two teams that, well, right now the Eagles would probably be my second choice to represent the NFC. The Ravens would probably be, my second or third choice to represent the AFC. And I'm going to take the Ravens, the home team. That's going to be really fun to see how this Eagles defense deals with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, two teams that play really physical. Eagles defense is significantly better than the Ravens D, though. That could be the difference, but I'll go with the home team. 49ers at the Bills. 49ers still banged up. I'm expecting Purdy will play. Not even sure about that, but the Bills are a really good football team right now, and the home team, 49ers, going to travel across the country. Yeah, I'll take the Bills. And the Browns at the Broncos. This will be a extremely low-scoring game, would be my expectation. Cleveland playing at elevation against Denver. I'll take the Broncos in that one. Those are my Rams Up Straight Up picks now, 3 of them. Maybe I'm already 0-3 by the time you hear this. The Thursday games. The Friday game, Raiders, Chiefs as well. But those are my picks. Next up, what do we have to be thankful for as Ram fans? All right, Ram fans, coming off a pretty dismal loss to the Eagles, Thanksgiving weekend, I thought I'd try to pump you all up a little bit. I got a list here of things Ram fans should be thankful for. This is not really my style. I don't really enjoy doing this stuff, but there are a lot of things Ram fans can celebrate this year and every year, really. So let's go through this list. I don't know how many I have here because as I'm going through it, I'll probably think of more. And the first thing we can be grateful for, how about our great tradition of running backs? When Lawrence McCutcheon is your 5th best running back in franchise history, I think that's where I'd put him. Probably have to consider Jerome Bettis. He was with us such a short time, though. You got a pretty good tradition at running back. Todd Gurley in his prime might have been the most dangerous running back ever. Marshall Faulk, dual threat, Super Bowl champion Steven Jackson, the Beast, SJ39. Loved watching that guy play. And then, of course, Eric Dickerson, perhaps the greatest of them all. All different styles as well. Kind of cool. And now we have Kyren Williams. If he learns how to hang on to the ball, could be right up there with them. Although we'll have to see if he gets a second contract with the Rams with Blake Corum waiting in the wings there. Maybe not. But of course, the Rams don't play Blake Corum, so we don't really know. But that's the first thing we can be grateful for, we can be thankful for, is this great tradition at running back. The second thing, SoFi Stadium. Man, what an amazing place. You can tell that everybody who shows up for games there is just jacked. And, a lot of them are visiting fans, something we're just going to have to learn to live with, I think. Maybe that'll dissipate as we win more and more Super Bowls. But SoFi Stadium, and I'm going to say this again, I've said it a few times over the last couple of years, get yourself to one of those SoFi Stadium tours. We did it a few years back, and it was incredible. So much fun, throwing touchdown passes in the end zone. My son throwing them to me. I'm doing toe tappers, hanging onto the ball. That's right. I did score a touchdown at SoFi Stadium. I was uncovered, but still, it was a touchdown. And my son kicking 37-yard field goals off a tee, granted, but still, man, they let you run around on the field pretty much as long as you want after going through their standard tour. When I was there, they had some skill tests set up as well. I think it was $38 with free parking. Something you just got to do. The third thing we can be thankful for is Matthew Stafford. Man, I just love watching him play. And, I mentioned the other day that maybe the Rams offense should evolve. Their next quarterback should be someone with some mobility, much more mobility than Matthew Stafford, because that seems to be the way the league is going. But until that time, celebrate and enjoy the greatness of Matthew Stafford. He is so much fun to watch. If we could just protect him better, more consistently, we'd even see a better side of Matthew Stafford. And the fourth thing we can be grateful for, I'm very thankful for the kind of a train wreck happening up there in Santa Clara. And I'm not talking about the injuries. Injuries aside, that team is a bit of a mess. Am I happy the 49ers are 5-6? You betcha. Let's make it 5-7. And the fifth thing we can be thankful for is Rams owner Stan Kroenke. It's pretty awesome having an owner like Kroenke who finds good people, hands them the keys, and says, go do your job, and stays the heck out of the way, Jerry Jones. So we kind of forget about him, and as it should be, stays out of the way, built that great stadium in Los Angeles for us, Stan Kroenke. And the sixth thing we can be thankful for, I already talked about the running back tradition. What about our great tradition at wide receivers? Elroy Crazy Leg Hirsch, Tom Fears, Jack Snow, Henry Ellard, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, and now Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. And you know what? Every single one of those players was a class act. And there's something about great wide receivers that, I don't know, sometimes they're prima donnas, sometimes they're very self-centered, kind of the same thing, I guess. Sometimes a bit of a clown show. Not Los Angeles Rams and St. Louis Rams wide receivers. And the eighth thing we can be thankful for is the greatness of Cooper Kupp. And you know what? And Puka Nacua. We're watching it real time. These two great wide receivers, so physical, so dedicated to their craft, great blockers, class acts, rugged, tough, yards after the catch over and over again. You're going to look back on Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. You're going to be telling your kids and your grandkids about these two guys, watching them play together. It's something else. And the next thing we can be thankful for takes some heat sometime, but Les Snead is one of the best drafters in the National Football League. Free agency, maybe not so much, but in the draft, it's so much fun watching him figure things out. Every year, we're getting steals in the draft. We've had a couple bad drafts, but overall, Les Snead gets it done. Another thing we can be really thankful for is these young studs on defense up front the last 2 years. Kobe Turner and Byron Young last year, and then this year, Jared Verse and Braden Fisk. We're going to have this group together for another 2 or 3 years on their rookie contracts. Man, young studs on defense. It's a lot of fun watching them. Now, they have their moments where they break down, let quarterbacks escape, miss the tackles, that type of thing. But overall, this is a great group to watch. And next thing to be thankful for, we talked about the running back tradition. We talked about the wide receiver tradition. We got to talk about the defensive line tradition with this franchise. Started with Deacon Jones, and then I should say it ends with Aaron Donald. It goes all the way through to Aaron Donald and may be continuing, but Merlin Olsen, Jack Youngblood, wow, so many great defensive linemen on this franchise. Now, what team can put a defensive line, a historical defensive line together, Merlin Olsen and Deacon Jones, along with Aaron Donald and Jack Youngblood? Doesn't get better than that. Hey, you know what else we could be thankful for? How about Bo Limmer? Man, what a beast. You know, during that Sunday night game, they were showing Eagles in the weight room, bench presses and such. I thought maybe, just maybe, they'd switch over to Bo Limmer at the University of Arkansas, bench pressing 700 pounds, but didn't get that. But still, Bo Limmer, we may be watching a future Pro Bowler in Bo Limmer. And you know what else Ram fans should be thankful for? You know, we talked about Les Snead, and a lot of people are in love with John Lynch as a general manager. But I have to tell you, we should be thankful for the 49ers 2023 draft haul. Now, their first pick in the third round, they had 3 third-round picks, by the way. Jair Brown, he's a starter, solid pick. Then they picked the kicker, Jake Moody, who, you know, he's had moments. He's had a lot of bad moments, though. Certainly not worthy of a third-round pick. And then they picked tight end Cameron Latou, who has since been waived, now with the Browns. Their next pick was Darrell Luter, a decent cornerback. He had that game-changing fumble in the Super Bowl, though. Then they went with 2 linebackers, Robert Beal and D. Winters. Beal is not playing, maybe special teams, I'm not sure. Winters has 22 tackles in 2 seasons, and I think the only reason he's on the field at all is because of the Dre Greenlaw injury. Then they picked tight end Braden Willis, wide receiver Ronnie Bell, a special teams player, but he's the one that had those critical drops against the Rams. So from a Rams perspective, yeah, we're all behind that pick. And another linebacker, Jalen Graham, who is on their practice squad. So not a good draft haul. And, you know, if the 49ers had nailed it here, really could have helped them maintain their spot atop the NFC West. And remember, it was that Trey Lance draft pick and ensuing trade that vacated their first and second round picks in that draft. So they come away with 2 tight ends, 3 linebackers, a kicker, a safety, a cornerback, and a wide receiver. And the only consistent contributor, Jair Brown. Yeah, you can throw in Jake Moody and Darrell Luter, I guess. Compare that to the Rams 2023 draft haul. Quite a difference. That's it. That's all I got. So there are a few things we can be thankful for. We'll be even more thankful if the Rams can take care of the Saints and keep their playoff hopes alive. I'll be back Saturday with a complete preview of the game, and then we'll drop a video Sunday morning, our pregame pulse video, and then our post-game reaction right after the game. And make sure you check out Ian's Film Studies Orchestrated Rams on the YouTube channel. Good stuff. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.